In the courtroom, words are weapons, and silence, a strategy. Being a trial lawyer isn't just about evidence and verdicts. It's about reading people, diffusing conflict, and keeping control under pressure. But what most people don't realize is how deeply this profession prepares you to deal with difficult personalities in everyday life. Those emotionally volatile, argumentative, or defensive people who seem impossible to talk to. Let's unpack how trial law shapes this rare skill set. 1. Understanding that conflict is often a cry for connection. The first thing I learned as a litigator is this. Most people aren't difficult, they're afraid. When someone comes at you with anger or stubbornness, they're often operating from fear, insecurity, or an unmet need. This reframe is powerful. It transforms the situation from, "How do I win this argument?" to, "How can I listen to the hurt behind their words?" When someone yells, "No one ever listens to me," they're not just attacking. They're pleading, "I want to feel heard." If you can recognize that, the conversation shifts from conflict to connection. 1. The power of choosing not to react. In trial work, not every question deserves an answer. If the opposing counsel throws a zinger, you don't swing. You let it go by. The same applies in life. Difficult personalities often bait you into reacting. But here's the secret. Just because someone throws something at you doesn't mean you have to catch it. You have the right to remain calm. The power to control your response, even under pressure, is the most underrated form of self-defense. When someone pushes your buttons, remember, no one can make you say anything you don't want to say. Silence, composure, and timing are the quiet weapons of a confident communicator. 1. You don't have to win. You just have to understand. In litigation, you're hired to take on someone else's conflict. You're arguing not because you have a personal problem, but because your client does. That detachment gives you perspective. It teaches you that arguments are rarely personal, even when they feel that way. The same applies to real life. Most conflicts don't need to be won. They need to be understood. Instead of proving a point, try this. After listening to you, I understand that this topic matters to you. I agree this is something worth talking about. The goal is not to dominate the conversation. It's to lower the temperature so real connection can begin. 1. De-escalation phrases that diffuse tension instantly. Trial lawyers know that one phrase can turn an entire case. In relationships, the same principle applies. Is this something we need to agree on right now? Use this when a minor issue starts spiraling into a big debate. Often, the answer is no, and it diffuses tension quickly. That's helpful to know. Simple acknowledgement creates emotional safety. Maybe you're right. Who am I to say? These are humility-based pivots that soften ego-driven exchanges without conceding your position. I could have done better. This one line creates shockwaves in long-term relationships. It drops defensiveness and invites vulnerability. 1. Slowing down the conversation to control the pace. In trial, speed kills. When emotions rise, the fastest voice often loses. You learn to slow down, lower your tone, and ask precise questions. If someone says, "You never listen to me," don't fight. Ask calmly, "I want to make sure I understand. Are you saying I never listen to you? Is it that I don't listen, or that you feel I don't listen? Let's talk about that. I'm listening. I want to change that." When you slow your pace and lower your voice, it unconsciously invites the other person to do the same. It's emotional regulation by example. 1. Remembering that everyone has a story behind their behavior. In deposition, I once questioned a hostile witness, aggressive, defensive, curt. So I paused and asked, "What are you struggling with today?" His tone shifted. He shared the stress of caring for his aging mother alone, grieving a father's passing, and feeling overwhelmed. That's when I learned, the person you see is often not the person you're really talking to. Every emotionally explosive person is carrying a quiet burden. Behind the grudge, the cold shoulder, or the anger, there's a scared or exhausted human being. Approach people that way, and you become the calm in their storm. 1. The ripple effect of how you communicate. What you say today can affect people you'll never meet. A client once told me she de-escalated a 20-year marital pattern with one phrase, "I could have done better." Her husband replied, I could have done better, too. First time in 2 decades. Another reader helped foster parents agree on a major life decision just by asking, is this something we need to agree on? These aren't just phrases. They're bridges over the divide of pride, fear, and ego. 1. You always have power, even when others seem loud. The louder someone is, the more emotionally immature they likely are. But that doesn't make them powerful. You don't lose power just because someone yells, gaslights, or stonewalls. You lose power when you give them control over your emotional response. In court, you learn that power is not in what you say, it's in how and when you say it. 1. When you take things personally, you pick up what wasn't yours. One of my tools is this: put it down. If someone gives you an attitude, a nasty comment, or a cold glance, it's not always about you. Don't carry it. If someone walks past without saying hello, don't think, they must be mad at me. Think, they're probably preoccupied. Giving grace doesn't make you weak, it makes you free. Final thought: the next thing you say could change a life. What you say next is a choice. That one moment, your next sentence, could either escalate a war or start healing a wound. And the beauty is, you don't need to be a lawyer to use these tools. You just need the mindset of someone who understands that every argument is a human story wearing armor. If you treat difficult people not as enemies to conquer but as humans to understand, you don't just become a better communicator, you become a force of peace in a chaotic world. And that's real power.